just thinking. And yesterday, I got an email from one of these subscribers that I had to sit down and think about because if you're from Europe, Asia, wherever, and you're not quite understanding what's going on, you should probably go back and watch again and get yourself real familiar with the the story behind what's going on that I have been told by people who know. Okay. The Acolyte has not been funded by Disney. It hasn't. If you get stories coming out from Madeira Island where there's a blog and they have pictures of Iraq, they have pictures of little Jeeps everywhere and not Jeeps, but trailers, that doesn't mean they're filming a show. Okay. Disney has never fully funded The Acolyte. What is going on, and I can't believe I have to say this again, is Leslie Headland has been given discretionary funds to film something. So she can take it to the C-suite, Iger, Bergman, Walden, and others, and say, this is what we want to do. Okay. And they will probably say no. It's hard for me to imagine y'all believing this is going on after a lawsuit's been published. They're talking about it. It's out there, filed in court. This woman, Karen McCarthy, is taking Lucasfilm, not Disney, to court over money she lost and deservedly gets back. Now, when you read the article about what she said happened, she didn't spend a lot of time working on this fake show. However, she lost a very big show that Apple TV was going to put on. She was going to be the executive producer, which big boss, and it was a Colin Farrell vehicle. All right. The woman also knows Bob Iger. Okay, so it's not like he wasn't aware of what was going on. I'm sure through either intermediaries or them just talking, she told him, hey, this chick screwed me over. Is this really happening? Now, I am going to say this. I doubt this lawsuit will go all the way to court. But this lawsuit also proves several things that people, again, bigger channels, because they're run by angry fanboys, and I'm going to get to that, and something really hysterical happened on Friday that I'm going to have to address too, but let me talk. They offered her $5,000, and she potentially lost maybe $1 million. Okay, $5,000. That's like, what the fuck is this? You know, I wouldn't sneeze at $5,000 because I'm poor. You know, compared to some of these people, I'm not, but you know what I'm saying. I don't have the money. I don't have money like that. Sure, if someone paid me $5,000 for 2 weeks of work, I'd be like, you know. But you know, she lost because the movie that she was working on, the show that she would have been working on, is a go-ahead at Apple TV, and it's with a very prestigious, well-known actor. She lost potentially a lot more money. In fact, she probably has the pay that she would have lost in paper from Apple. Okay, because she thought the Acolyte was gonna happen. Now, when she got let go, she looked around, realized that, you know, she missed out, kind of put her head down, went, well, whatever, went to Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm said, who are you? We don't know. We never talked to you. That's another clue. That Lucasfilm said, we don't know what this is about. That was last April. Okay? So I want you guys to think about, you've got Jason Ward and the nutbags over there spreading this propaganda that this is happening. And it doesn't help that Star Wars Direct talks about it talked about the lawsuit and then doesn't put two and two together. And if they have, they're not going to tell you because they want this fucking show to happen for some reason. All right. I got Fanboy Incorporated not understanding what this means. Okay. Lucasfilm saying they don't know what it is means there's nothing in paper, at least officially, at Lucasfilm for this show to be happening. God knows where Kennedy's getting the money. It's apparently discretionary funds. The monies that Headland has been given out is for 50,000 euros, two payments of 50,000 euros, which is enough to spend like 2 days, 3 days, maybe a week on Madeira filming what? Seagulls? The fuck is she doing there? All right. You could probably borrow volume stage and not spend that money. Okay. But we've got that. Then we had stories about costumes being checked out, and then oddly named companies putting out money too. Okay, so this is a grift. We've got a lady who had a job. They fired her or let her go right away. She went to get compensation for the other job, rightly so, that she lost out on. Lucasfilm's like, what are you talking about? Look, it is not that Lucasfilm didn't want to pay her, in my opinion. And this is how, if I was the defense attorney in this, I'd be like, they didn't know this was going on. Let me put it this way. When it gets to discovery, if it gets that far, Lucasfilm can say, we never said this was a show. This is not real. Everybody turns around, we will give you your compensation, but, Disney, and I speculate that Bob Iger probably has already paid this woman some money, okay, just to make her happy and to go away, all right? But they know each other, so, maybe had her go in there to prove that Headland doesn't know what she's doing so he can get rid of her. I don't know. I mean, this is a very interesting little conundrum because of all the dots I'm connecting here. You should be connecting them too. All right. So you've got this going on. Okay. You've got a website that does Madeira Island, Portugal, like, come and tourist, be a tourist here. Star Wars is taking over. But all the other pictures are behind a paywall. Like, I'm going to fucking pay for that. No. So what is going on here is Headland is using discretionary funds that Kennedy has made available to her to probably do, as my friend Dan has said, and Cameron has said too, it's discretionary funds to film a presentation. There's never been a show. And furthermore, despite what Fanboy Incorporated thinks, because they don't know anything, despite what Kennedy's Flying Monkeys say, the Disney company has not okayed the show. They have not given it the green light. Bob Iger has not talked about it in public to where it's in the trades. He didn't mention it at all last Thursday. When people say he talked to executives and he said he liked what he saw. He didn't say anything. It's bullshit. And if he did say it, and if he actually did say that, he's not going to say, it stunk, I need to talk to Alan and Dana about canceling this dumpster fire. You don't say shit like that to them, to people that don't work in that circle. I'm going to explain C-suite to you in this way. My boss, Mr. Army, had a circle of trust. All right, I was a little below the totem pole, so I wasn't in that. But I knew who they were. And when everybody went into his personal office, the door was shut, they were talking about something it wasn't on my pay grade to hear. All right. Now, was I told things afterwards? Yeah. Well, am I going to say what it was? No. I took an oath of loyalty and I'm not going to say a word. You just don't do that. Okay. And Bob Iger is not going to let anybody in the press, any other executives from any other company, anywhere, know what he and Alan Bergman and Dana Walden and others talk about. The rule is what you see here, what you say here, what you hear here, leave it here when you leave here. Okay. What did Vito Corleone tell Sonny? Never let anyone else know what the family's thinking. Duh. So when you have Star Wars Direct or some lunatic like Jacqueline or some other idiot run around saying, oh, he talked to these execs, he said he liked it. No, he didn't. He didn't. I mean, Bob Iger might be a lot of things, but he is not going to divulge in public or private with people he doesn't trust what the company is thinking. Ever. Okay? How you surmise what he's thinking is by, dipshits, what he does. Okay? Again, a man isn't what he says, it's what he does. All right. So, we're going to talk about the Acolyte to, a technology conference when he talked about Star Wars movies being carefully, they're being careful with them from now on. You know, that is what's going on. All right, that is the truth. So about the Acolyte, yeah, she probably is filming something. But why not ask the people who actually think this is going on? Where is Carrie Ann Moss? Where is she? Where's Amanda Stenberg? Where? Neither of them have been in any pictures on what looks to be a location ever. Carrie Ann Moss is doing her lifestyle brand, which I checked it out. It's called Annapurna. And I think she's bizarre. I'd be like, you're weird. Go check it out. It's Annapurna Lifestyles. ANAPURNA. Just, you know. And so I'm pretty sure she's a Buddhist, like they all are. It's fine. I don't care. But there, and it's about it's empowering and strengthening women. Okay, so no, she hasn't been on set. The only picture we've got of Amanda Stenberg is her in street clothes with Lee Jung Jae and what looks to be Galaxy's Edge. Okay, so please just stop. I don't care what Pro thinks. I don't care what anybody thinks. Okay. Remember, these people have only been about 40% to 30% right about everything. When I talk about Kamran, 90%. Okay, 90%. In fact, he scooped everybody in Hollywood about the hiring freeze at Disney. So, you know, if you talk down about him and bring up some YouTuber that literally changes, hey man, his agenda and his message and his basically opinion every other day to fit the next story without any nuance, without any critical thinking, I'm sorry, I can't hang. Okay, I can't hang. All right. You know, life doesn't work that way. In Hollywood, the C-suite doesn't work that way. Okay, so please stop. Okay. So what else are we talking about? Okay, so apparently a very big YouTube channel had a pariah among the chattering class, Gavin McInnes, on. Gavin McInnes is the creator of the Proud Boys. Gavin McInnes is a giant asshole, just like Alex Jones. Gavin McInnes is someone you should distance yourself from. Like, you know how far away the moon is from Earth? How about as far away from as Jupiter is from Earth? That's how far away you should be from Gavin McInnes. You don't want Zack Snyder to come on and say you're a hate group. Don't align yourself with people like these idiots. Okay. And Gavin McInnes proceeded to run over these idiots like an M1 Abrams tank. All right. Then he flashed the camera and then he left, apparently. What is it going to take for the people that have these big channels to stop and think about what they're about and what they really want? You know, getting a connection to Gavin McInnes isn't the same as getting a connection to an actor. It's you're smearing yourself. All right. Proud Boys might have some, good things about them, but it is still a hate group. It is considered a hate group. You make it easier for the left to paint you with a broad brush. Did anybody say this is not a good idea before the invite was sent out? No. All right. So, will you ever see anybody like that on my channel? No, you won't. And the reason why is because I don't want that person near me. All right. Well, the thing about it, from what I was told, and this is just secondhand, is that McInnes basically started just trashing everybody. I mean, he is an asshole. All right. Hey, Cross. So, and if they wanted the controversy, why would you want that? Look, I understand any attention is good attention. Any PR is good PR. I don't buy that. I don't. Look at Harry and Meghan. Okay. Really? You want, I'm pretty sure that one of these days Harry's going to look at himself, look at her, and go, what the hell did I hitch myself to? All right. And I think that's true. Unless he's like great uncle Edward, who was married to a singularly vapid bitch, Wallace Simpson, and then he's stuck forever. It's going to be the poor little man. Okay. I am not very surprised that this happened. I could have told them, run this past me before you invite this person, that this was going to happen, because he is an enormous asshole. I mean, I saw McInnes, Jedediah Bila is a conservative talker. She's been on Sean Hannity before, and I don't watch Hannity anymore, but she's been on there. And McInnes basically told her, why don't you get married? Why don't you have kids? And basically told her to shut the fuck up. Really not the way you talk to American women. She was so pissed off she was speechless, and Sean was like, oh God. Because, she was pissed. That is not the way a real man talks to a woman. Okay. So that alone told me that this guy was going to be bad news. And he is. And he was. Okay. So that was a bad idea to begin with. He went after these guys. This guy thinks he's an alpha male, and he's not. Look, if someone tells you that they're big and tough and they're masculine and all that, they're not. Clint Eastwood doesn't have to say that. John Wayne never had to say that. I'll tell you a story about John Wayne. They're at a bar one night, and Frank Sinatra's there, and he's drunk. And he's actually trying to start a fight with John Wayne. Little tiny skinny Frank Sinatra. John Wayne, 6'5", 200 pounds, going. Wayne lifts him up, sets him on the bar, shoves a beer in his hand and said, "Here, Frank, have a beer." Just picked him right up and put him on the bar. Not another word was uttered. And tons of respect and a little bit of fear. All right. Sinatra intimidated people who bought his bullshit. Did not intimidate John Wayne. Okay. And that's the difference between John Wayne and Gavin McInnes, Clint Eastwood and Gavin McInnes, Harrison Ford and Gavin McInnes. Okay, he wouldn't have to. He doesn't have to say it. He is it. All right? But they had him on the show, and he humiliated everyone, and then the video was lost to history. Which is too bad, because I would love to go back and watch the play-by-play, because it's like, you guys asked for it. This guy thinks he's the shit. He doesn't understand this. He thinks he's fighting for men. All right? And, he has some good points. But he's such a jackass, and he's done so many stupid things in his life, and he enjoys getting called names by the left. Why would you want that? It's like, again, Alex Jones. All right. So, okay, we're done with that. So, all right, we talked about the Acolyte. We talked about the lawsuit. We talked about where that lawsuit will go, if it goes anywhere. And I would say right now, Disney's probably trying to figure out a way, if they haven't paid her off already, to pay her off and to get rid of the people that caused this mess. All right. I would like to know what these weird little corporations, who they're affiliated with, that are giving Headland money. And if you honestly think that this show is going to happen after this lawsuit, you're stupid. Okay, now I know what I want to talk about. So, the ratings for the first episode of The Mandalorian came out, and they were pretty weak. All right. And Kennedy's monkeys are cheering, because whatever hurts Jon Favreau, they think helps them. The Fanboy Incorporated will cheer and will not, understand what's going on and take the blame for some of this. All right, first off, the first show was fine. I got up early to watch it. The second show was fucking amazing. All right. I'm going to suspect that the people tomorrow who show up on shows everywhere will have not seen a fucking episode. But they will tell you what they think. You will have somebody saying, "Oh, it's boring." No, it's not. Fuck off. Okay. What bothers me is when they do shit like this, they form a narrative, and the subscribers, instead of going, I'm going to have to watch this myself. Oh, I agree, Andrew. Instead of saying that, they're going to go along with it. Again, a narrative is built by people with influence for a reason. Okay. Democrats form a narrative around Ron DeSantis. He's a racist. He's not a racist, but because he doesn't want racist, critical race theory taught in Florida schools. He's a transphobe. No, he's not. He doesn't want overtly sexual garbage taught to grade schoolers, okay? Without their families knowing, okay? That's grooming, by the way. But that's a narrative. Now, the Fanboy Incorporated narrative is Disney Star Wars sucks, so no matter how good it is, we're going to say it sucks because we haven't seen an episode, and we're going to make sure that no one else watches it so we can hurt it. And that's because in the wilds of their imagination, people, they think they can, I don't know, maybe make Disney sell Lucasfilm back to George or some whatever. Or when you're looking at the chats, there are people actually think that that Disney is going to implode and go bankrupt. Because Fanboy Incorporated has led them to believe that will happen. Okay, it's not. Disney is not going to go bankrupt. They will sell IPs and studios and things and different parts, assets before they go bankrupt. So fucking quit thinking that. Okay, they're not. Will they sell Lucasfilm? No. I mean, look, Bob Iger himself said the studios were not farming projects out to Lucasfilm and Marvel. We were going to keep those in-house. Did that ever pass by the dimwits that define the narrative for the fans? No, it didn't. It didn't even register. All right. About The Mandalorian. I love it. I absolutely just, I was, this last episode, that last scene when they're coming up through the water and they see a fucking mythosaur and it's looking at them like, and you can see its teeth and it's got that eye and it's like, oh my God, we're going to get into the deep lore. Now, I am going to say this. There are Star Wars fans out there, my friend Lee, who don't know anything about Star Wars, who would think getting into the deep lore is boring. Guess who else thought that? Bob Iger. That's why we didn't get George's sequel trilogy. Okay? That's why we didn't get what we should have gotten. That's why we got the shitty reboot that destroyed the OT. All right? So, if you're a Star Wars fan, you haven't seen an episode of The Mandalorian, and you're watching, and you don't understand the lore behind the Mandalorians, you know, what do you want? First off, if you don't know what you're watching, you're not a Star Wars fan. You don't know as much about Star Wars as the people who like it. Okay, you know, so Star Wars Direct goes, well, you know, is there Star Wars glut? Are people? No, they're not in fatigue. No one's in fatigue. It's Fanboy Incorporated destroying Kenobi for no reason at all except money, and then getting pissed off when they're called out on it. It's Fanboy Incorporated constantly unable to read nuance, unable to actually read the news and look at the rumors and go, that make any sense. You know, and I think it's the internet. The ability to think critically is dead. All right. The ability to think and ask yourself out loud, if this doesn't make sense, this rumor, why should I believe it? Why should I believe this narrative? Okay. Like, let's talk about the Damon Lindelof movie. There are the channels going, oh, it's gonna happen. Because a Collider dude was like, I was told they even have it actors, and blah, blah, blah. No, they don't. I don't. You know, so you gotta ask. So, Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie's canceled. Patty Jenkins' Star Wars movie's canceled. But Damon Lindelof still has one. Kevin Feige produced the top grossing movie of all time. Hi, Danny. And his movie's canceled. He's Bob Iger's favorite human, but his movie's canceled. However, J.J. Abrams, who's out of favor in Hollywood, his little hack, Damon Lindelof from Lost, who has never directed I don't think he's even directed a feature film or ever actually been part of one. Maybe he has. I don't know. I have to look at his resume. I don't feel like doing it right now. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me if he has a Star Wars movie, a fully funded. All right, I'll put a number out there: $250 million Star Wars movie, or even $150 million Star Wars movie. We're supposed to believe that. Really. I don't believe it. Why? Because, again, Bob Iger might have said something about that last Thursday, all right? And instead, he said they're going to be very careful going forward with Star Wars movies, and considering the fact that the sequel trilogy didn't make the money, didn't return, didn't get a good return on investment. That the rise of the Last Jedi was what, supposed to make like 2.3 or 2.5 billion, and the Rise of Skywalker was supposed to make close to 3 billion, right? They were both way under what their projected box office was supposed to be, like by $1 billion and then $1 billion and more. Okay, so I'm going, yeah, Disney wants to spend more money on this. Okay, I mean, it leaves me incredulous, going, no, they don't have the money for it. Second of all, there's no energy behind that. This is a Kennedy move to save her job and to save the ST. Okay, you want to know why the ST's getting so much love by Star Wars Holocron? It's going away. All right, Kyle Ron's mask disappears. All right, now we might have Rey on badges at Star Wars Celebration, but the people that put that together don't know what's going on. All right, it's look, when Dave Filoni said Grogu can't exist in Star Wars without being part of that universe, without being part of that garbage, it's not it being separate and in the same universe. It's literally being in opposite universes and opposite timelines. And the reason is this: the sequel trilogy, its characters and the story is dead. There's nothing left to tell. Okay? Nothing. All right? And that's the truth. Well, mad they are doing that. I mean, it's $10 million an episode or more for each episode of The Mandalorian. So 8 episodes, probably $80 million, and then add maybe another 20. Ahsoka, 8 episodes probably, another $80 million. Skeleton Crew, same thing. Okay, so we've got 3 really great projects. We're now getting into the middle of one. And again, when someone says it's boring, and I could call someone out, I really don't like this guy. I won't, but he's everybody's bestest friend, Ivar. And I find him to not be as smart as he thinks he is. Okay, he's not funny either. Saying it's boring, it's like, did you even watch it? You know, first off, again, you've got to look at these people and realize they don't know as much about Star Wars as they think they do. Because I guarantee you, that guy and the other guys talking about how boring it was did not understand the significance of what Bo-Katan was talking about when she took Din Djarin to the mines. And what a big fucking deal it was. Right? And what they found under the water as they were coming out of it. All right. That is a big deal. And tomorrow I'm going to be like this. And this is, look, we were aware of what a mythosaur was and during the holiday special. The cartoon with Boba Fett, he's riding a mythosaur. That's where we first saw it. So this thing has been over 40 years in coming to see live on screen. And, you know, this is about the deeper lore, and it also tells me that fanboys are not intellectually curious enough to go watch, to go look this up. What is a mythosaur? What is Bo-Katan talking about with, you know, Mandalore the Great or Mandalore the Ultimate? Well, what is she talking about? What is the significance of the dark saber? They don't want to know. All they want to do is say they're bored and watch money roll into their accounts. That's it. All right. And they're wrong. Their narrative is wrong. And, people should start going with them. No, it's going to be interesting where John goes with this. Because the love he has for this franchise is as much as mine is. And 2 years ago, I'm like, big deal, Mythosaur. Now I'm like, I'm all it. But Andrew, these people never watched Clone Wars. They never watched it. All right. They talk about being normies and they've never watched Clone Wars. They don't watch Rebels. They don't know anything about the deep history, and they've never read the books. The EU. Okay. A lot of this stuff that they're talking about in The Mandalorian is expanded universe. Okay. Which John said he's bringing everything in. All right. So, and it's too bad. I would hope. Now, these ratings were Samba TV, but I guarantee I could name you, the YouTubers, who will go and start crowing about this. And you gotta ask them, what do you want out of this? You want Jon Favreau to be fired and everything to be rolled up? What happens to Star Wars then? What happens? All right. They don't ask themselves that. All right. When you got, I'm not going to say it. I really want to. People that their conversation is 3 feet wide and about a quarter inch deep about any of the franchises. And it's like, look, I can't do this anymore. They don't understand the significance of lightsabers. They don't understand the significance of the Jedi path. They don't understand the significance of the Mandalorian creed. They don't understand the significance of the underworld. These are people that are not cinephiles. They've never watched The Searchers. So the opening episode of Mandalorian. Oh, I freaked out too when I saw the Purgle. Opening episode of Mandalorian, the door of that bar opens, and it's from the bar looking out, and Din Djarin is silhouetted. Go to The Searchers. John Ford used that exact same shot of John Wayne standing in a doorway. And the cool thing about this, and fanboys won't know this, the person under the armor was Brendan Wayne, John Wayne's grandson. Yeah, I do too. I want to look. If we want the sequel trilogy to die, we have to follow this path. If you think it's boring, fuck off. All right? Keep it to yourself. All right? And, all right, did anybody notice something, though? Put a 1 in the chat. The people who are saying that Mandalorian Season 3 is boring are the same fucking idiots who liked Andor. Put a 1 in the chat if you notice that. All right? Cross noticed. Andrew noticed. It's the most bunch of bullshit I have ever heard in my life. Okay, if you could sit through the 3rd episode of Andor and not want to stick a gun in your mouth and end it all, you just must be a brain dead moron. Okay, because it wasn't Star Wars. It was annoying, woke with the dykes, woke with Andor's adopted mommy, the fat bitch. Bunch of shit I've ever seen. Topped off with a crazy Nazi ISB agent and the Jeffrey Dahmer type stalking her. Not to mention what they did to Mon Mothma. Think about it. And, well, some people did the other day, and I was like, I gotta tune out. I gotta get out of here because, you know, if I had been on that panel, I'm gonna say what was boring about it. What? You know, and then they'll come up with the rationality, and then I'll get mad because I hate rationalities. A rationality is a lie you tell yourself to make yourself feel better about something, right? Don't do that around me. If you can't be honest about why you don't or like something or do like something, I don't want to hear a word about it. I don't want to hear your opinion because you haven't formed one yet. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of my things, but the fandom really has a problem right now. So, I want you guys to go out there and do something for me. Go out there and tell your friends who haven't seen it, watch Mandalorian Season 3. All right, watch both episodes. Take an hour and 10 minutes out of your life to watch them. Hour and 15. That's it. Sit down with a bowl of popcorn, a beer, or a glass of wine or whatever tonight and turn on Disney Plus and watch it. Okay? All right, now, I think the Gina Carano thing hurt it. I think she's probably, in a vindictive way, very happy about it. And, you know, I know that she was told, I'll bet you $500 that John and Dave asked her to come back. And she told them to go pound sand. And if that's the case, fuck her. All right, I mean that, fuck her. Why? Because you dance with the boy that brung you. All right? Period, full stop. This is disloyal on her part. Especially since I'm pretty sure that those guys went to bat for her. All right? You know, and again, Pedro Pascal not being public about his support for her. We don't know what he said behind the scenes. All right? So you guys assuming he didn't support her, you know, do you know him? Do you know everything that went on behind the scenes? You know, I know that Carl Weathers did because he said he did. I know that Giancarlo Esposito did too. All right? Now, the fact that they did is an indication that a lot of other people did too. And yet here we are. And Fanboy Inc. turning her into a martyr. No, I'm done. I'm over it. All right? They should just recast her. Sorry. Anyway, thought I'd rant a little bit. I'm not in a very good mood. Word to the wise, my email is out there for people to read, to find. And I will block you from emailing me if you send me garbage. Like, I got a block from Darren, Star Wars is being filmed there. No, it's not. There's not, they're not fully funded. Disney has not given them the green light. Leslie Headland does not have $10 million a show. She's got maybe 150,000 euros. That's what her budget is. And if you think they have a budget, go look and see what they offered Karen McCarthy, $5,000, when she lost, because she lost out on basically being the executive producer of Sugar, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Think about it. All right. You think they have a budget? All of Hollywood looked at that and said, the show isn't real. It's not real. Okay. And, Jason Ward, he can get marching orders from Headland or, Kennedy or whoever and, post more lies, but that right there tells me it's not real. Carrie Ann Moss not being on set tells me she knows it's not real. All these people that are supposedly attached to it have an if come deal, which means if we make it come, basically. Hey Maze, how you doing? I'm sitting here shooting the shit and ranting. Basically at Fanboy Inc. and laughing at Neurotic. And talking about The Mandalorian. And talking about The Acolyte and it not really being a real show. And, trying to figure out a way to get people to understand that what they're hearing in rumors doesn't match what even the news is saying, the actual legit news. Then we'll talk about the Oscars. All right, first off, Best Dressed, that Sophia Coleman, that white dress, princess dress. Kate Hudson, I loved her dress. Angela Bassett and Jessica Chastain. Worst dressed, that interviewer chick who was dressed up like a morbidly obese superhero. What was that? Anyway, but I want to talk a little bit about the in memoriam. There were a lot more people left off. Let's go through the list. My friend Dee Dee's husband, Paul Sorvino, William Hurt, Melinda Dillon, Tom Sizemore, Fred Ward, Charles B. Dean, who was actually in one of the other movies, and several others. Okay, it's like, I would say a good third of the people who passed away who were bigger names than the people mentioned in the on the show were left out. So people who were related to these people are pissed. They left out William Hurt. Oh, I know, Maze. I mean, Dee Dee is actually going to be on Inside Edition, so check your TVs to see when, talking about what happened. This is look, if you go and look at what the reasons the Academy gave, bullshit, all right? Bullshit. It was a quota. They couldn't take out a minute and a half from, Jimmy Kimmel's retarded monologue to put these people in. They left out John fucking Hurt. Or William fucking Hurt. What? They left out Paul Sorvino. Yes, you do. They left out Melinda Dillon. You know, I mean, when I heard they did that, my friend who was actually at the Oscars said basically they were looking for him. They were looking for Big Polly. They didn't see him. And they were like, all right, now, granted, I'm playing with this putty from my hand. Dee Dee did say that she did accept an award from, I think it was the French Riviera film, whatever thing. So it was a fun night for her. But still, Paul Sorvino made well over 200 movies. William Hurt is an Oscar winner. Right? Melinda Dillon is in one of the most beloved classic Christmas movies of all time. Fred Ward was in The Right Stuff. Tom Sizemore was in Saving Private Ryan, Strange Days, all these movies, and they didn't, I mean, what the fuck, Academy? But when you look at what they said, it's a quota, okay? So they could have Ray Liotta and James Caan, but they couldn't have Paul Sorvino. You couldn't put a picture of Ray Liotta from Goodfellas with Paul Sorvino and both of them and then do both of them together. Or do one and then the other. You couldn't do that? Really? Really? Fuck you, Academy. You know, it's like this, but hey, guess what? You know, they had more people watching this year, but still not a lot of people watched. Okay. The award shows are not what they used to be. People don't care about it anymore. They're not watching. I mean, The Last of Us, which just looks like a woke. I mean, when Rain, what's his face, goes off on a tangent about Hollywood's bigotry towards Christians, that's a big fucking deal. I'm never going to watch The Last of Us. I don't give a shit. And I actually like Pedro Pascal. I have to look. I didn't really like him before, but after watching him in that Nicolas Cage movie where Nicolas Cage basically plays Nicolas Cage and laughing my ass off, it's the incredible pressure of massive talent or something like that. It's a very, the title's like out there. I laughed my ass off the entire movie. I laughed my ass off the entire movie. It's great. It's a great movie. I highly recommend it. But you know, I'm not gonna watch it. But they had 8.3 million viewers. You know? Of course. You know, but that's what they wanted. You know. Anyway, what else is going on? Okay, just, you know, it's been real quiet right now on the Disney front, on the Lucasfilm front. And how I know that they're worried that the sequel trilogy is going to have its own little universe, never to be touched again, is the way Twitter accounts like Star Wars Holocron are out there trolling people with the sequel trilogy. And the way the shills are acting. All right. You got that Dan, what is that guy's name? Dan Delisted or whatever that guy's name is, who's constantly shilling for Rey on, God, who was he? He was on Star Wars Theory. But then and I'll tell you what, when this started, it didn't start when Doomcock or I or Cameron started talking about the sequel trilogy being overwritten, bypassed, whatever. They started going after and started putting this shit out there when Star Wars Theory started talking about it. And when he started talking about it, that was my damn decentralized. Oh yeah, well, I blocked him. I ripped him a new asshole and blocked him. I don't want to hear about it. But when Star Wars Theory started putting it out there and not being shy about not liking the sequel trilogy, that told me that whoever he's talking to has said something similar to what we've heard. All right? I mean, Kyle Ron's mask is gone. You might see Ray on a badge. That doesn't mean anything. All right? And, the fact of the matter is, Damon Lindelof is the last human being, especially with that silly bitch, Charmaine Chinoy, she did 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel, and they both had to be completely redone because she did such a shitty job. She's a propagandist and a feminazi. Neither of these two have ever worked on a movie like a Star Wars movie. They've never seen budgets like that. Okay? Ever. So, why would they get something and Kevin Feige wouldn't? All right, with that, I'm going to let you go because I'm losing my voice. And I kind of want to just hang out right now. So, it's really windy outside. And I think we lost another tree in the backyard. I know I heard something hit the ground out there. I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys be good, be well, be safe. Have a good Tuesday evening, and I'll see you for the aftermath of episode, what is it? 19 of The Mandalorian. See you around the galaxy. Yep.